Welcome to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, where we make plant-based cooking easy. I'm Jill, and today we are making a double-layer chocolate cake with cream cheese frosting and strawberries on top, right in time for Valentine's Day.
It's the all-free whole food plant-based cooking show.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Scindian Natural Food Products. Scindian is a family-owned and operated Australian company celebrating 20 years in business, making a wide range of affordable plant-based gluten-free products like burgers, sliders, sausages, and more. No preservatives, stabilizers, emulsifiers, or additives. Just clean, minimally processed, whole food ingredients that never compromise on flavor. In the US, you can find Scindian products in many independent health food and specialty grocery stores, and in the freezer aisle at select Meijer stores, or by ordering online at meijer.com. In Australia, you'll find them online at scindian.com.au and at your local supermarket. Scindian, guided by nature. Okay, so boy, do I have a treat for you today to hopefully be able to share with someone that you love tomorrow for Valentine's Day. We are making a double-layered chocolate cake with cream cheese frosting and strawberries on top. It's going to be so beautiful, and it's going to taste even better. So I'm going to jump right in. First, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And for the frosting, one of the things you should do is get a measuring cup on the side and put 2 cups of cashews in there and cover them with water so they're soaking while we're waiting here. It's really best if you could soak them for a couple hours before making this cake, but just in case. That's what you need to have soaking right now. So first we're going to start off with 2 heaping cups of rolled oats, just regular organic rolled oats that we're going to make into flour. And I do this because I don't like them to be super ground up. If you use the stuff from the grocery store, the already made oat flour, it's ground a little bit too fine. And sometimes when you make cakes like this that don't have white sugar, it has a hard time getting the center done. So we're going to make flour out of this, but we're not going to grind it super fine. Okay, so I just took literally like 20 seconds in the blender for that. And if you can see, it's still kind of grainy looking. You know, it shouldn't look like white flour for sure. So we're going to pour that in our bowl first. Just set our blender aside because we're going to use that for one of the next steps, and you don't have to rinse it or anything. And I've got 1 cup of almond meal or almond flour. They're pretty much the same thing. One is just ground with the skins on and one is ground with the skins off. But for this, it's a chocolate cake. If it's brown, it doesn't matter because it's got cocoa powder. So we got 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder. We got 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We're just going to stir that together until it's really well incorporated. And you get those little chunks of almond flour, because sometimes they make little clumps that if you don't get those stirred up well in this step, then when you bake it and you cut open that cake, you're going to have these little white dots. So we want this to be a solid chocolate cake. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so now for the wet ingredients. So I've got 3 cups of unsweetened soy milk, because what we're going to get our sweetness from are these dates right here. It's a whole food sugar. Because a lot of the plant milks that you find in the store have added sugar. So if you can get an unsweetened one, unsweetened almond milk, soy milk, whatever it is, just a plant milk that's unsweetened, that's the best. Then we have 1.5 cups of pitted dates. And it doesn't really make any difference if you use deglette dates or medjool dates. Medjool dates might be just a tad bit sweeter, so that's all good. And then we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, now we're just gonna blend this up until there are no chunks left of those dates. And right now I wanna give a shout out to a little boy named Seth. His mom just sent me a picture. He made my double stuffed Oreo cake all by himself, and it was beautiful. So hi Seth, you're amazing. Today's show is brought to you in part by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative people. Creating this cooking show ourselves involves a lot of moving parts and requires us to have a wide range of skills. We wanted to improve the quality of our photography, so we turned to Skillshare and found DIY product photography, style and shoot creative stills from Mango Street Labs, and learned how to effectively design and organize our photo shoots. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description below will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership, and after that, it's only around $10 a month. Okay, there we go. That looks great. Now we're just going to pour this in there, mix it up really well. And even if there's some date chunks left in there, that's okay. Because then you're just going to get those little teeny bites of date chunks in there. But it still looks like chocolate, so it doesn't make any difference. Just mix that up really well. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think I got all the clumps out of there. You want to make sure you get all those clumps out of there. We don't want any dry clumps when it bakes. Set that aside. And I have 2, guess what, heart-shaped silicone pans. I thought that would be perfect for today. But if you don't have those, you can have 2 regular 9-inch cake pans, tin pans, or these cool silicone ones. I would either lightly grease them, the tin pans, or line them with parchment paper. But your silicone pans, you don't need to do anything to it because this does not stick to them. So we're just going to roughly pour half into each thing, just kind of by eye. And if it's not exact, that's okay. Not a big deal. Because it's all getting covered in frosting. See, you won't be able to tell if one ends up just a little bit bigger than the other one. I think this one needs a little more. Okay, there we go. Now we're just gonna plop these into the oven for, we're gonna start with 30 minutes and we're gonna check them at 30 minutes. And if you touch them, press it in a little bit, and if it stays kind of firm and it bounces back, it's perfect. But if it stays caved in a little bit, you might wanna cook it just a couple more minutes. So we're gonna put it in at 350. All right, now we're on to the delicious cream cheese frosting. And it is actually cream cheese, not cheese, but it's vegan, of course. So here's our 2 cups of soaked cashews. We're gonna pour into the blender. So I soaked them and I just poured off that water. 1.5 cups of dates, already pitted, of course. And then here is my own homemade cream cheese. So I have another show showing how to make this cream cheese that you can check out. We will leave a link in the details below for that, because it does take it's a couple day process to make this cream cheese. So that was a half a cup of this. And your other option, if you are making this tomorrow for Valentine's Day, I realize that doesn't give you time to make the cream cheese. I have another recipe for a cream cheese-like frosting that's on my carrot cake recipe. So we'll also give you that link in the details below so you can check that one out. You can also use that. It's just as delicious. Then we're going to do a tablespoon of lemon juice. And that's going to give it that tartness like cream cheese has. And then, let's see what I've got. 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. So if you're using the cupful, the lid like I always do, it's about 3 lids, maybe just a little bit less than 3 lids full. And I know that's not an exact measurement, but that's the way I roll. Okay, whoops, I forgot my water. And let's see, 1 cup of water. So now we're just going to put this in the blender and we are going to blend it on low first until it starts getting it all incorporated, and then you can turn that speed up. And we're going to blend it until it's really, really creamy. Okay, if you want to come in and take a look. You can still see a little bit of the date flecks in there, but it's all right. This is so smooth and creamy. And I can just smell how delicious it is going to taste. So this is nice. You know, your cakes are still in the oven, and even once they get out to cool, this needs a little bit of time to set up, because once it sits for a little while, those cashews are going to keep soaking up that liquid, and it's going to get even just a little bit thicker, so it's easier to frost that cake. So we just need to wait for our cakes now. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to share with you some background on our show. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show is crowd-funded, which means these free weekly recipe videos, along with our entire catalog of recipes on our website, plantbasedcookingshow.com, and our new Plant-Based Cooking Made Easy cookbook are all made possible in part by the generous patronage of our supporting members. By becoming a supporting member, you gain access to great member perks like monthly product giveaways, free downloads of our ebooks, and access to our in-depth courses, including our 28 Days Plant-Based Made Easy course, where we offer a step-by-step guide to making the switch to a fully plant-based diet. We create this show for the hundreds of thousands of viewers just like you who tune in each month from all over the world to make it easy for everyone to live a plant-based lifestyle. So if you love our content, please join us on our mission and become a supporting member today by following the link in the description. Okay, let's get back to the show. All right, guys, our cakes are out and they are cooled. You need to make sure that they're completely cooled, because this is this frosting, if you put it on a cake that's not completely cooled, it will just ooze and melt all over. All right, so the nice thing about these little silicone guys is that they come away from the edges really nicely. Just gonna flip it over, pop it out. Look at that, perfect. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of a layer of this first. So you just kind of have to eyeball how much you have there. You don't want to do too much, because then you won't have enough for the top. And I've already scooped out some just for a little neat little edge into a piping bag. And that's completely optional. You know, it's always optional how fancy you want to get with this cake. You can decorate it however you want. I just thought this was a really fun, bright, festive look with the strawberries on the top. As you can see, I've already got them cut here, and I just cut the tops off so it's flat, because we're going to plop them like this. They need to be flat on their tops. All right, there we go. Smooth that really nice. Set that aside. Get our other cake. Loosen the edges. Oh, this is going to be so pretty, guys. You are going to have so much fun making this. And it's gonna taste, and it does, it tastes amazing. Okay. Let's see, do I go this way or that way? I guess I just go this way. Just put it on top. Oh, there we go. Okay. And we're gonna completely ice this. We're gonna ice the edges even. So I like to kind of, you know, just pour it on the top, and then we'll move it out to the sides. Get all that goodness in there. Yum. And then we can do the fun artsy thing of getting our strawberries on there. Ooh, it's oozing already. Ooh, it's traveling on its own. You can do this, you can put it on a plate if you want to, because then you could put the, you know, you could put the strawberries around the edge if you wanted to. And just a note with the frosting, because there's dates in there, that's our natural sugar, right? That's why it's not completely white. It's never, you're never gonna get a really white frosting with this whole food ingredients, because the dates are brown and there are no preservatives in here. So as it sits, those ingredients are going to oxidize a little bit, and it's going to turn, you know, a little bit more tan color. But that is okay, because once you taste this, that is not going to bother you at all. And you're going to know that it's only whole food goodness here for you. No artificial colorings, sweeteners, nothing like that. This is all good. Look at that, I'm doing good so far. Look at that. I'm not the best cake decorator in the world, but this is going pretty well so far. And if you want to keep this, I've got this on this cake tray, and it has a cover that goes with it so that you can keep it in the refrigerator. And it'll keep really nice in the refrigerator for, you know, 3 or 4 days, but you're gonna gobble this up. So you're gonna be lucky if it'll last that long. There we go. Smooth that out a little bit. But as it, you know, as the days go by, like I said before, that frosting is going to just turn a little bit, you know, a light brown. So don't be concerned, it's not bad. It's just the oxygen getting to it. There we go. Okay, now we get the fun part, the strawberries. All right, so we've got some that are bigger than others, so maybe I put the bigger ones towards the middle, I guess, and work my way out. Okay, so I'm going to start with that guy. I'm just going to set them on there lightly. I don't want to squish them too down in there, because I don't want that frosting moving any more than it has. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so pretty. Look at this. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see, that one's a little bit bigger. And this really didn't take that much time. You would think kind of a fancy cake like this would take longer, but it really doesn't. Pretty simple ingredients that you probably already have in your kitchen. Oh, that's a little too big for there. I think that might be, these ones might be too, let's see, how does that look? Maybe one right there. Still want to keep it in kind of that nice heart shape. That one looks a little big, maybe I'll do 2 smaller ones. There we go, that looks better. Maybe that little one over here. Okay. think. Maybe one more. Just keep going, keep going. All right, so now for that edging. We're just gonna go around the edge and just put a little bloop of this. Let's see if we can do this. And like I said, I'm not a cake pro, so we'll see how this goes. Not too shabby. Wow. Ooh. There it goes. Oh, it's going down on the side a little bit. Oh well. Ooh, that strawberry's coming down too. Oh well. It will work from here. Probably put the strawberries a little too far out to the edge. This is getting thick around there. And I just have the little star-shaped, what do you call it? Piping tip on there. And this frosting is really, it's very soft, so it's not quite like your regular. But look at that, isn't that pretty? I think that's so pretty. Yay, us! Okay, well, now we're just down to the taste. So I'm gonna get a plate and a knife and a fork, and I'll meet you at the table for a taste. Okay, now we get to taste. But I'm terrified to cut into this cake, this beautiful cake. Ah, how do you do it? So I'm just gonna cut off this edge right here. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess I know how I am gonna celebrate Valentine's Day early with this cake. Let's see here. Whoa. Oh gosh, there we go. Mmm. Oh, that frosting. Mmm. Oh, yum, 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 yum. That's gotta be good with chocolate. And a little bit of strawberry. I don't think I can get a strawberry without. There goes Slump. Mmm. Oh, the tartness of those strawberries with the richness of the chocolate cake. And then you get the tart, rich, sweet of that frosting. Mmm. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And I hope even more that you'll enjoy this cake. And I'll see you next time.